Hey folks, Eric Dylan Stanish coming at you live again on my way to work. Another installment in the Eric Dylan series. So, as I was showering this morning, getting ready for work, I was thinking about everything, of course, as we tend to do in the shower. And one of the most powerful things that I've found for affirmation is the mirror technique. Those of you who aren't familiar with mirror technique, it's basically plant your ass in front of a mirror, and whatever your affirmation is, look at yourself in the mirror and repeat that affirmation. Repeat it while you're looking at yourself, looking in your eyes, you can focus any spot, but you're telling yourself, I am abundant. I am free of all worries. I am, and of course, one thing that goes along with that is using current tense, I am statements, as well as gratitude. Thank you, universe, for showing me this problem is already solved. Combination of the two, expressing gratitude, and not just for what you have, because as I touched on, I think it was yesterday, last episode, whenever it was, if we are expressing our gratitude in advance for the things that we desire to have in our life, it goes back once again to that mindset of it's already done. If I say, for example, my affirmation in the mirror is, I want to have a better job. And I look at myself in the mirror and say, I want to have a better job. I want to have a better job with complete conviction, because of course that's what I want. The problem there is that wanting reinforces the lack, the not having aspect. So, current tense, I have a better job. I am working at my dream job. I have abundance in every positive aspect of my life. I am living the ideal life with my true love, etc., etc. You understand where I'm going with that. But also that expression of gratitude. Thank you, universe, for showing me this problem is already solved, is kind of a general statement that you can use, that I've used, or specific towards the situation, but thanking the universe, thanking God, thanking higher power, whatever your belief may or may not lie in, but thanking something outside of yourself for the thing already being done, basically. You're not expressing yourself from a point of want and lack and desire, because those things, lack and want and I don't have, so please give me sort of attitudes, just reiterate more of the same. So what you will get is, guess what? Lack, more of the same. I didn't realize that early on in my explorations with mindset, with being a more positive person and just angling my internal dialogue to a better, more beneficial position for myself. And now, the more that I've read, and the more that I've learned, and the more that I've experienced along those lines, the more I realize, express that gratitude. Express thanks for something already being solved in your life. Thank you for my abundant health. Thank you for my $1 million a month business. And for a lot of people, they say, oh, that's not realistic. You're just throwing wishes out there. Those are the kind of people that I don't try to convince. because there is no convincing somebody. When their mind is set, it's set, and that's fine. But I don't take their opinion of things like this not existing or being unrealistic as any kind of indication that I'm on the wrong path, or that there isn't undeniable scientific backing behind mindset being everything and positivity breeding more positivity. And people say, yeah, but what about, okay, you can give me exceptions just as much as I can give you exceptions. So at the end of the day, that ends up whose dick is bigger contest, and that just leads to more fuckery, if you ask me. So where I was starting this whole thing out with was talking about the mirror technique. And in my particular case, I've got a shower mirror, a non-fog shower mirror that, well, basically you get it wet and hang it on the wall, do a little shaving while you're in there. Makes it super convenient. As I'm in the shower singing away terribly, believe me, terribly to whatever songs are on my little Bluetooth shower speaker, stop and look at myself and repeat whatever my affirmation is at that particular point. That doesn't have to be the same one over and over again, but you want to speak it to yourself with such conviction. Same thing with the gratitude bit. You want to thank higher power, universe, etc., God, for bringing you that thing that you wanted, that manifestation, that spot in life that you were straining for. Feel it 100%. That goes into the law of assumption. Living in the end result, truly embracing how you would walk, talk, act, and feel if you were at that particular point that you desire so badly. Because when you pine and you ache and I don't have, I really want, it sure would be nice if, I wish I could. Those are all statements that I think every human has made at some point or another. And they only serve to repeat the same shit over and over again. Now, I've had people tell me I'm fucking delusional about the things that I've wanted and desired in life. Even something as simple as working out. Now, I realize, obviously, you have to put in the time, the effort. You have to actually go to the gym, or if you train at home, train in the park. I know there's a million other ways to train, but you have to physically train your body. You have to eat a certain way. You have to try to address any vitamin deficiencies, hormonal issues, supplementation. There's billions of, I shouldn't say billions, there's hundreds of intrinsic factors connected to working out. But if you just tell yourself, whether it's via affirmation or any other technique, I want to be in better shape. Okay, you're coming from a lack of wanting, or coming from a spot of wanting from a lack of having. I'm in the best shape of my life. Okay, is that too vague of a parameter though? And like I said, you still,
in 2 miles,
sorry, even though I've been to work a couple hundred times over the last few years, I always have my GPS on with the destination just so I can see what time I'm projected there, because I have a habit of being chronically late. Anybody who knows me can vouch for that. So I try to beat my GPS, which I will say, driving this particular vehicle makes it fairly easy to meet your estimated time of arrival on GPS, but that's a whole different episode. Anyway, what I was saying is, if you 100%, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have done all of your work, let's say like with working out, you put in all the time in the
half
gym.
a mile, exit the highway at exit 25B.
Okay. If you've done all of those things, if you put in all of that work, if you've sacrificed blood, sweat, and tears at the altar of the gods of training, there's still one thing that can hamper your progress. Mindset. Feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you don't deserve it, feeling like that, oh God, I get on the scale and nothing changes. I get on the scale every day and I'm not losing weight, gaining weight, getting more muscular, whatever. Okay. You are, once again, the analogy of planting a seed, digging it up every day to see if it's growing, completely applies there. And I realized, like, just in my particular little experience, I was always a little bit undersized, to say the least. And granted, there were some parameters I probably could have changed even back then. Good God, that closing that's a little bright on my face. All right. But I definitely could have been eating a hell of a lot more when I thought I was eating a lot, trying to put on weight with lifting and stuff. Just kind of a common thing. A lot of young fellas that want to be big, strong, and lumpy, whether it's for a sport like football or just for general aesthetics. They'll say, God, I eat so much though, bro. I eat so much. But do you really? Start tracking your calories and plugging everything into an app, and you'll realize you're probably not eating as much as you think you are. We tend to overestimate how much we eat. So, where I was going with that long diatribe, which all of these episodes are diatribes, and I really appreciate anybody who's going to stick with this to watch long enough to go, this motherfucker just rambles about all kinds of shit. But at one point or another in the last, God, it's been a while, I had a close buddy of mine, great guy, absolutely, just I can't even say enough good about him. He's really that good of a dude. He said, you've done all these other things. You've had a lot of different hats that you've worn. Okay, so we'll go through the quick list. Played arena football, played college football, was terrible, absolutely terrible, I'll admit that, because I had no high school experience. That's another episode too. Competed in powerlifting, did a little bit of pro wrestling, did a little tiny bit of MMA, BJJ along with it. At one point I wanted to try to compete in Highland Games, bought all the equipment for it, went out to the field, tossed things around, bought a kilt, and had a couple of injuries that slowed me down. But I've done some independent movies. Yes, I'm on IMDb, and they're god-awful too. No discredit to anybody that I've worked with. I'm just saying about my roles were a little less than beneficial to look back on and go, but you know what, I did it. My point is, this good friend of mine had said to me, dear close friend of mine, you've done all these things kind of in the performance related field. Why don't you just start recording all the shit that goes through your head, mini episodes, not necessarily even in a podcast format, so to speak, but just videos of you rambling about shit, your thoughts about stuff. Because with the exception of a very small percentage of humans, we all have an internal voice. We all have a dialogue. And the shit that our brains talk to us about when we're doing something like this, driving for 2 hours a day, I'm just saying this shit out loud and recording it, throwing it out there for all of y'all to listen to. But if any of you know me personally, which some of you do, some of you don't, you know this is just me. Yeah, so that's where I was going with that. The whole lifting thing, though. And, by the way, thanks to my buddy Jacob for lighting a little fire under my ass to finally get this whole thing going, because I've talked about wanting to do a podcast, wanting to do something, do a YouTube channel for just Trackhawk stuff, and I didn't really pull the trigger until I started recording these, and now I'm throwing them out there with just the expectation, not even expectation, just the knowledge that we all talk to ourselves like this. I'm just the dumbass that's throwing it all out there on video. Anyway, talking about the lifting thing. What I realize now, looking back, like on my little career, so to speak, of lifting or just working out, is a very integral part of my life ever since I was 16, so years ago. I always looked at it from a viewpoint of lack. Oh, I'm not big enough yet. I'm not strong enough yet. Even when I was competing in powerlifting, I was never, which anybody who competes in powerlifting, what the fuck? I'm coming up to a stoplight right before work and people are standing on their brakes for no apparent reason. But my point is, I was looking at working out from a lack, always a lack, not feeling good enough, no matter how much weight I put on, even the puffiest I've ever been, watery and round, at about 250 or so. I'm 6'1.5" on a good day. 6'1.5" is a very odd measurement. Just say you're 6'1", dude. But 250 at 6'1" is not small, but it's not cracking the pavement like a dinosaur when you walk either. And my strength levels, honestly, even in powerlifting, were never really that great. It was very tough for me to ever break the 400-pound bench barrier, and my squat and dead being like around 6-ish was definitely not great for my weight class. I mean, especially as things have progressed now, there are many a lifter floating about in competitive powerlifting in all different federations at that level of strength where I was at, that are probably 100 pounds lighter than I was at that point. That might be an exaggeration, but you get where I'm going with that. My focal point was always, not good enough. I need to take this supplement. I need to, experiment with this anabolic. I need to take this, that, and the other. And that delves into a whole nother series of discussions that we're going to have about lifting and the magical elixirs in the working out world. But it all fucking goes. This dude is switching lanes like dip, dip, dip. We're not in the city, my friend. We're on, if any of you are familiar, Highway 41 in Indiana. You're changing lanes like you're driving in Tokyo Drift. But all of this, almost everything that I can talk about, there's going to be an aspect of that thing that's affected in a beneficial fashion by mindset being different. And fuck, oh dear, it's not like I didn't give any credence to that, and especially the one person in my life that tried so hard to show me the light about believing in myself and not focusing on the negative. And she knows who she is. She was right. And I owe it all to her. She was the one that started this whole shift. She put the wheels in motion, and I want to acknowledge her for that, because I'm not trying to get emotional, but I don't know how much worse off I would be if I had never stumbled across this, because of the feelings that I had about a lot of stuff and struggling with self-worth. That's a whole different side of the coin. So, folks, I'm going to sign off. I'm here at work at the pharmacy. All right. Bye.